And the Dragon is not just directly engaged with India, it is also fighting proxy battles. Case in point, China. A small Himalayan country of 26 million people with a GDP of $19 billion, once described as the yam between the two rocks. These are words of Prithvi Narayan Shah, the founder of modern Nepal. Little did he know that in 2020, in the middle of a pandemic, the yam would be squashed by one rock. Why am I saying this? Because Nepal's alliance with China has come at a very heavy cost. Kathmandu has lost its identity. It is dancing to the tune of the dragon. Let me explain how. Nepal is indulging in unprecedented provocation. And I'm not talking about the map fixing. That was bad, but still on paper. This is happening on the ground. Nepal has deployed troops on its border with India. This has never happened before. The Nepali army has built a helipad. It has planted tents. It is building a camp. All of this drama is playing out in Dharchula, which also happens to be just 80 kilometers from the Chinese border. On the 17th of June, Nepal's army chief, General Purnachandra Thapa, visited the Kalapani border area. You see, playing around with the map is one thing. Deploying troops is quite another. The former is not okay, but the latter counts as military provocation, and this is something totally unheard of from Nepal. Nepal and China are not allies, they're not friends. There is another word that aptly explains or describes the ties between Mr. Oli's government in Nepal and China. It is called puppeteering. Earlier today, the Nepal Communist Party held a workshop along with the Chinese Communist Party. Apparently, the two sides wanted to share experiences on running the party and the government. A similar workshop was held last year, just weeks before Xi Jinping's visit to Nepal. There are two takeaways from the so-called virtual workshop. First, there is no real sharing of experiences here. These are virtual schools being run by the CCP. Comrade Oli and his team are being coached by the Communist Party of China, the CCP. Here's an example. A line from the statement of Pushp Kamal Dahal, better known as Prachand. He is the chairperson of the Nepal Communist Party, which is the ruling party in Kathmandu. Prachand told the gathering that the relations between Nepal and China, and I'm quoting, are nurtured on the basis of sovereign equality. He was once viewed as India's man, trusted to counterbalance Oli, not anymore. Another important thing to note is the timing of this virtual meet. It comes a day after Nepal constitutionally adopted a wrong map, claiming India's territories as its own. It also comes 4 days after the Galwan skirmish. 4 days after so many lives were lost, Nepal's ruling party is taking classes from the CCP. And Mr. Oli is proving to be a fast learner. The first thing he picked up from the CCP is how to ignore the problems of his own people. And that's exactly what he's doing, it seems. Turning a blind eye to the problems of Nepal. Let me list them out for you. The Wuhan virus, the one that came from China. It has made 9,000 people sick in Nepal. Healthcare is a mess. Plus, there's a humanitarian crisis. Some 25,000 Nepali citizens stranded abroad without jobs. Who is going to bring them back home? Nepal's apex court has asked the government to evacuate them. It had to step in. The court had to step in to remind the government of Mr. Oli and the Prime Minister of his duty. Another problem, caste-based violence. A 21-year-old Dalit man recently killed in Nepal. There have been more than 33 cases of violence against Dalits this year. There were at least 84 cases in 2019. There are thousands on the streets protesting these incidents. They have caught the attention of the United Nations and the European Union. But Prime Minister Oli is learning from China, you see. He's learning not to care about human rights either. Problem number 3, the economy, again bugged by the Wuhan virus. There is no money coming into Nepal. There are no tourists. Remittances are expected to fall by 14% this year. I'm not saying this, it is the World Economic Forum. And FYI, remittances represent more than a quarter of Nepal's economic output. Any good government would understand the gravity of the situation, but Mr. Oli's poor governance is the reason why we are here. He failed to deliver as Prime Minister. Now his politics depends on fanning anti-India sentiment. Ultra-nationalism is politically profitable in Nepal. But remember the law of diminishing returns and the significance of timing. Now is not the time to construct helipads or move troops. And it's never a good time to burn bridges with a friendly neighbor, especially one on whom you depend so heavily.